We got fucking Negative Land in here. All members of
Yeah,
Negative
that's right.
Land.
What?
Negatively.
That's a band. They did.
I remember hearing, I don't know, I forget which member, but one of the members of Negative Land ended up scoring the 1995 film The Ice Cream Man. I could probably look it up, but if you've never seen The Ice
Starring
Cream Man,
Clint Howard.
yes, the iconic film. I'm glad that someone is familiar with it.
The iconic film where the poster is Clint Howard holding an ice cream cone with a skull on it.
Yes. They did a whole photo shoot because there's an alternate poster where he's like, oh, it's a bloody ice cream cone. So that means that they did multiple takes with different ice cream cones.
It's not just different photoshops?
I don't know. Because he's doing different poses.
I haven't seen the film.
It's not good. It's
no, I don't imagine it is. But I mean,
I watched it a while back.
It's starring Clint Howard, so it's got to be worth something.
He's the best part of it easily because he's given his all. But like some highlights that I remember, there's a scene where they like put like a dog in a blender.
Oh my god!
And that's like the goriest thing in the movie. It's just out of nowhere. He's like, "Hey, doggy, come over here."
Have you seen?
And he cuts him in a blender.
Have you ever heard of the movie Microwave Massacre?
Oh, I haven't. No. What's that about?
That is, I think that one's probably more of a comedy than The Ice Cream Man. I'm not sure. I mean, how comedic in tone is The Ice Cream Man?
The Ice Cream Man's pretty fucking stupid. Oh wait, am I allowed to swear here? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
You haven't read Mr. Boop before, have you?
So my most exposure with Mr. Boop is someone posted a clip on Twitter.net.
Oh wait, what week is this? Wait a second. This is gonna be someone's first week.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know what Mr. Boop is. I don't know how Betty Boop's involved. All I know is I saw a clip of Jim Davis, the great Jim Davis, getting interviewed.
Oh, the strip club interview.
Yes, and Jim Davis,
the great Jim Davis, yeah.
He did an interview. He talked about drawing a cat who eats lasagna. Right there.
Didn't do any about fucking Betty Boop.
Exactly. That's what I saw. Someone posted that on Twitter.net, and I was like, wow. And I looked it up. Because I thought in the low 144p quality.
Wait, you thought that was actually Jim Davis?
No, I thought it was Rich Evans.
Huh. Oh, he does sound like Rich Evans, doesn't he?
It sounds like Rich Evans, and I thought it was Rich Evans.
No,
and I looked it up and it's not.
What? That's Loose Meat. I think it was his name. Loosemeat.biz.
Well, loosemeat.biz. If you're out there listening to this, I'm sorry for confusing you for Rich Evans, but at that point, you should take it as a compliment.
I'm assuming that's. I don't know if that's like a channel or if that's his stage name or whatever. I don't know if that's like a group of people or if it's one person or not. I'm not sure.
Well, whoever it is, I'm sorry for thinking you're Rich Evans.
Oh right, I was gonna say Microwave Massacre. That one leans pretty heavily into the comedic tone. Like it's not really. There's not really any horrifying moments at all. It's pretty much just goofy, but it is like a murder movie. Like it's like the main character goes around murdering people, and he is played by the voice of Frosty the Snowman.
Oh really?
Yeah, really? That one's pretty.
Wasn't that guy like 70 years old though?
He was pretty. I don't know. He seemed pretty old, but not. I don't know about 70. But this was in like the. This was like in the 70s, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Maybe late 70s. I don't know. But I don't know. That would have been. That doesn't seem right to me. That it predates like Halloween. Maybe I don't know. Let me see. Microwave.
Yeah. But if you're tuning in now, we were just talking about the 1995 film.
We haven't started recording yet. By the way.
1983. I'm recording.
But this is just preamble.
Okay.
You can put in any of it. I mean, I did have a.
I haven't started this.
Well, married to the world famous Betty Boop. Gee whiz, what a lucky guy. So in love, might make you puke. She's the apple of his eye. Sit right down, we're gonna give you the scoop with Ryan Pfeiffer and Lisa Doop. Stamma ding dong loop de loop. This is the story of a guy named Mr. Boop.
You're listening to Being Mr. Boop. Licensed to wed. My name is Ryan Pfeiffer and I'm Mr. Boop.
My name is Lisa Doop and I am Mr. Boop.
My name is Jam and Janet and I am Mr. Boop.
I feel very unprofessional now. Lisa, Janet, it's Monday, June 29th. Is that right? Yeah, alright.
Yeah, that's
2020, and today we're reading the 115th ever Mr. Boop strip. What happens in today's Mr. Boop?
In today's Mr. Boop...
Lisa, before we continue, I have to introduce our new guest, Janet, who I'm not familiar with.
Hi, Jammin' Janet.
Hello, how's it going?
So you're
everyone?
going to have to introduce me to them, even though you already did that.
Who are you, and what is your relationship to Mr. Boop?
You already know that, Lisa.
I know that, yeah.
Janet,
The
who are
audience
you,
does.
and what is your relationship to Mr. Boop?
I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm Janet. And my relationship with Mr. Boop is I gotta admit I'm virginal when it comes to this. I'm not
Unlike
much familiar.
Mr. Boop.
Unlike Mr. Boop, who we all know is quite the promiscuous dog.
I thought you didn't know that.
It's called contextualization and context clues.
We squandered your naivete before we started the podcast.
Before it's okay. I have enough brain damage that I can just forget it.
There's a lot going on in this week of strips, so you'll be even more confused than a regular week.
Lisa, you didn't read the synopsis.
Yeah, you didn't let me. In today's Mr. Boop, Peter Griffin is in this one.
Shadow
The Family
synopsis. Yeah, Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Shadow synopsis. Oh well.
Which is the description on Patreon.
Yes. Oh wait, is there a shadow synopsis on Twitter?
No, but I was just clarifying for Janet.
Okay. No, I just forgot to check. 4 panels as always. We see. Janet, feel free to stop me at any point if you need to ask what the fuck is happening.
We have the strips up by now, right?
We see Peter Griffin standing behind the counter at
Subway counter.
Yes. Wearing a Subway uniform because he works there, as we know.
As has been established.
Yes. And he's looking sad, he's looking dejected, and he's got a thought bubble that says, I'd love to get married one day.
It's an awful Peter Griffin impression. You should feel bad.
Wow. Okay.
I'd love to get married.
For your information, every impression we do on this podcast is bad. Panel 2, he's still looking sad now. He's looking like down at the ground. His mouth is like a tiny bit open.
Yeah.
As if he's saying this, but he's not. He's thinking it in 2 speech bubbles.
I imagine he's sighing. Like,
I imagine he's just so like zoning out, and his mouth is just kind of drooping open. He's got 2 speech bubbles. First one says, I look at what Alec and Betty have, and it's so beautiful. And the second one says, but I don't know anyone who would ever want to marry a schlub like me. Electric.
And then from left, a big-titted, a big-titted sort of
panel 3. This
woman.
is
panel 3.
Panel 3, a big-titted beauty walks in, and she's like, "Hi there, can I get a turkey sub?" Asking for a turkey sub submarine sandwich.
Can I
get
a turkey sub?
Subway. We see a Subway chip display also on the right. Maybe for the first time ever. Can we confirm
this might be a Mr. Boop first.
The Subway chip display for the first time. We don't usually see this side of the counter. This is Lois Griffin, by the way. This is just like a
With big-titted beauty is Lois Griffin.
I don't
from
understand why that's her description.
It's important. It's big-titted beauty.
I'm not gonna argue with it. Is what I'm gonna say.
I don't really want to comment on it either. But it's just it's a pretty standard drawing of Lois Griffin. It looks more like Lois Griffin than Peter does at this point because Peter's been so
As the characters continue to appear in the strip, they sort of get molded into Alex's style, right? At the start, they're very on model, and then
I would say is a sort of Flanderization of their design. It's
okay. Wait, Mr. Boop 72. You see the chip counter, chip stand.
Oh. I'm gonna have to edit all that. I'm gonna have to redact all that. Not edit it, not cut it out, but just like bleep out that whole section.
Yeah, there's like a very long.
Yeah, Millicent, make sure to do that.
But in Boop number 72, that does take place in a dream, so.
Oh, never mind.
You know,
yeah. I was gonna use myself saying Millicent do that as an excuse to then not do it myself while editing because Millicent doesn't edit our podcast. Whatever. Panel 4. That's a Being Jim Davis reference, Janet.
Which is another podcast. This is a spin-off of that you have no idea about.
She doesn't even know Being Jim Davis?
Janet, do you know about Being Jim Davis?
The famous podcast.
I know of it.
Oh, okay. That's all you need to know.
This is a spin-off of that.
Yeah.
Of course. Is this an official spin-off, or is this like a UHF type situation?
No, this is endorsed.
Wait, what do you mean UHF?
Is this like, is this sort of a pirate channel?
No, it was originally it was for like the first few episodes, and then we signed on to the same network, so it's semi-official.
Wait, you're on the network? What network is this show on?
It's on the Pitch Drop network, which is the network that hosts Being Jim Davis. So we're semi-official in that regard.
Yeah, the thing that makes this a Being Jim Davis spinoff is that me and Ryan, we've stolen the format from Being Jim Davis, but we've also appeared on the show, so
Well, yeah, that's.
We're on the same network.
We met through the show, and then. So it's not a Sam and Cat type spinoff where we both appeared and then got together for the spinoff. It's like it whatever.
We were okay.
I love Sam and Cat.
Cool.
I prefer Sam and Max. Panel 4. It's by the way, panel 1 was a flapper shot, and panel 2 was the same shot, and we're back to it for panel 3.
I'll argue that. I'll say that. Whatever.
I don't know. What? What? That?
I agree. I'll fight for that decision.
I don't see why you would need to. By the way,
if
Janet, there is a slang guide tab on the spreadsheet in case you don't know what and for when we say things like electries or flapper shot.
We've invented our own version of the English language, basically.
Yeah. I mean, Being Jim Davis did that too when they're like, oh, vamp,
We apologize, Janet.
No, it's okay.
I do not apologize. I stand by the slang guide. Anyway, panel 4, Peter has pretty much the same expression as panel 1, maybe with a little bit of like the mouth from panel 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he responds to. I guess we don't know for sure this is Lois, but
we just know it's a big-titted beauty.
Yeah, that's who we know.
He responds by saying, "Yeah, coming right up," and he's got a thought bubble again. It says, "I'll never be happy. Oh well."
So, what did you guys think of this one?
Funny.
I thought this one was funny as well. Janet?
Yeah, I think this sort of this.
Janet, how did you like your first Mr. Boop strip?
I need to sort of explain how I feel. Let me sort of put this into words.
Which contained no Mr. Boop or Betty Boop, and it was a strip about Peter Griffin working at Subway.
There wasn't even a marital status strip in this one.
There was.
Nah. Well, I mean, it's not like technically.
The sort of
Janet speak.
social ramifications of this strip I've just witnessed. All right, let me put on my reading glasses so I can sort of look smarter than I am. But
For the audio for the listeners.
For the audio, I'm putting on glasses. These aren't even real glasses. These are like $5 costume glasses. But listen, in many ways, it harkens back to the films of Ishiro Honda in many ways, because
this is really like being Jim Davis. You're saying
finally. I was actually, not to interrupt, but I was actually thinking that before we even started recording. I was like, Janet feels more like a Being Jim Davis guest host than anyone we've had before. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, you have
to be on Being Jim Davis. You have to sign up for that now.
Oh, I'm blessed.
We could do a session together. That would be fun.
But Ishiro Honda, many of his films sort of dealt with parts of life that people didn't really want to acknowledge. Like the first thing that pops into my head is his 1969 film All Monsters Attack, which sort of deals with the struggle of the latchkey kids. Is this the creator of Godzilla? Shh, I'm talking.
I had to look it up.
This 1969 film deals with sort of the struggles of the latchkey kid, and through the main character Ichiro, we sort of see the struggles that children in Japan throughout the latter half of the 1960s were dealing with. This post-war sort of reconstruction, this sort of Americanization of the country. What?
Did you prepare this ahead of time?
No, okay. I didn't. I told you. I took improv class in 7th grade. But sort of what I'm trying to say is throughout that film, we see glimpses into Ichiro's life, right? We see his parents, their work. We see his home situation. And towards the end of the film, we eventually realize that he's happy. Despite everything he lacks. Despite, his family being away. Despite the fact that his only friend is his neighbor, who is a grown man who makes toys, and invented a supercomputer in 1969 that could show you the moon landing. Thank you very much. But that's not the point.
That is impressive.
It's not that impressive. I can see the moon landing.
But in this film, they sort of, how you say, reconcile the thoughts of this child.
Is there a baby Godzilla in this movie?
There is a baby Godzilla in this movie. Minya. He's baby Godzilla.
Son of Godzilla?
This is not Son of Godzilla. This is a different film, but he is the son of Godzilla.
Wait, it's a different Son of Godzilla?
It's the same Son of Godzilla, but it is not Son of Godzilla. It's not the film Son of Godzilla, but it stars the son of Godzilla.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't the film.
Come on.
No, if you want to get into that, Son of Godzilla, say, when it was directed by Jun Fukuda. Now, Jun Fukuda, if you've seen his films, they sort of contrast with Ishiro Honda, because Jun Fukuda focuses more on sort of, not so much character study, but more sort of the broader picture, if that makes sense. All right? And
Sure it does, Janet. Sure it does.
But if you look at the original Showa era, the majority of those films were either directed by Ishiro Honda or Jun Fukuda. The only exceptions are Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which is directed by Yoshimitsu Banno, I believe his name was. Thank you. Memory. And 1955's Godzilla Raids Again, which was Americanized into the film Gigantus the Fire Monster. That was Motoyoshi something Oda.
What is it? Godzilla Rides Again? Is that what it's called?
Godzilla Raids Again.
Godzilla Rides Again.
It's like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna Godzilla Raids Again director.
I would love to see a Godzilla Western. This town ain't big enough for one of you.
Motoyoshi Oda.
Motoyoshi Oda, thank you.
That was really funny what I just said.
I agree.
But if you look at that film, a lot of people who are scholars of the Godzilla series sort of ignore Godzilla Raids Again, because in many ways it's a lesser film to its predecessor, right? All right, this is turned into a Godzilla podcast.
Kong. I'm King Kong.
Now, the reason, it's funny you should bring that up, because the predecessor and its successor, was King Kong vs. Godzilla in 1962. And if you notice, there was a 7-year gap between Godzilla Raids Again and King Kong vs. Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's because when the original Godzilla came out in theaters, it was a blockbuster success, correct? And not a lot of people were
Yes.
expecting this film to be such a success.
Matthew Broderick, Hank Azaria,
Yeah.
This is not the Matthew Broderick one. This is a different film.
Dan Castellaneta.
That's
Harry
the Simpsons.
Shearer.
They're also in Godzilla.
You're thinking of the Simpsons.
They're all in Godzilla.
But what happened was there was an 8-month. The Godzilla Raids Again was rushed into production. To say it was rushed into production would be an understatement. From the time the script was commissioned to the time it was in theaters was 8 months. 8 months.
Taylor
That's
Johnson.
very short. But it's an important film to acknowledge because I've heard it compared, whether or not this is poor taste, if the original
Elizabeth Olsen.
If the original Godzilla was sort of representative of the Hiroshima bombings,
Walter
in many
White.
ways, Godzilla Raids Again is sort of symbolic of the Nagasaki bombings.
TJ Storm.
But it's significant, not as significant, but it is still significant to a lesser extent. Because even though it wasn't the first, it still set the precedent for a lot of other things. For example, in Godzilla Raids Again, that is the first time we see Godzilla fight another monster, Anguirus. Now, Anguirus,
Walter White was in that movie? I didn't know.
Anguirus is sort of a popular character because Anguirus has sort of become Godzilla's sidekick in many ways throughout the Showa era. We see him turn up and destroy all monsters. We see him turn up in Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. But then he wouldn't appear again until 2004's Godzilla Final Wars. Now, throughout the Heisei era, there was a lot of attempts to bring Anguirus into it. All right? Because
the Final Wars the last one?
Final Wars was the last one for 10 years. That was, for a long time, that was the final Godzilla film. That was the 50th anniversary film. It was a big celebration of the series, and it had a return of a lot of Showa era monsters who hadn't appeared in a long time. So that's very interesting. Mothra actually appears quite frequently throughout the Godzilla series, but she does appear in that one. But she had appeared prior in the previous film, Godzilla Tokyo SOS. So it wasn't as big.
You want to hear my Mothra impression?
No.
Yoo-hoo!
No.
Okay.
Godzilla boy!
Okay, no. I do like that actually.
I already know about your Mothra impression, and quite frankly, but no, Mothra as a character, Mothra first appeared in the 1961 film, titled simply Mothra. What?
We have 4 more of these to get through. We have 4 more strips.
I kind of wish you were editing this week because I know I'm gonna keep it all in.
But that's not the point. The point is Mothra. The reason that film was brought into the box office, into the film theaters, was because they wanted to try to appeal to a younger, sort of more female audience. Because the Godzilla series was very popular with young boys, but they want to get that same sort of don't walk away. I know you're walking away.
We've lost Ryan. Ryan's walking.
But
Ryan's now in a hat. Cheaper by the dozen.
But
are you in a hat now?
Whoa, are we still talking about it? Are we still talking about Godzilla?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. This is my.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for how this ties into the strip.
It's gonna in a second. But
in a second.
Listen, my point is the Godzilla series sort of is representative of the growth of cinema in many ways. You see the sort of evolution of the character of the films, and even though they're genre films, you have to acknowledge their significance in the greater view of cinema. Correct? Sure. Now I'd like to continue with a question. All right. Well, I'd like to continue with a question, and that question is, why is Godzilla unstoppable? I'll tell you why Godzilla is unstoppable. Because Godzilla is sort of representative of the spirit of primal nature, okay, and the regrowth that comes with destruction. All right,
it's 6 things to a cycle type beat.
Now, what I'm trying to say is that Godzilla, as a character, is sort of how you say.
How do you say?
What's wrong?
A guy
you don't look pleased. You don't look pleased. You don't look pleased.
No, that's just
That's
just how
going.
Ryan looks whenever we do a podcast.
I want to continue on with this with individual reviews of all 30-odd original Godzilla films.
Ryan,
right?
I think you should end the episode.
You've been listening to Being Mr. Boop.
Gojira, the original classic.
Come on down and get yourself a used expression chair. Only $299. We're practically giving these recurring comic strip elements away. You can visit the show's website at www.beingmrboop.com for a full catalog of episodes and to sign up to host the podcast. For more updates, follow at Mr. Boop Pod on Twitter. Thank you and good night.
Can you make it so that Janet's audio there was in the left channel?
This podcast was brought to you by the Pitch Drop Podcast Network. Like what you just heard? Support the show by going to patreon.com/pitchdrop. And while you're at it, check out pitchdrop.net for more of this and other shows.